You're listening to the Live Out Loud podcast with River Wynn and Michelle Flamer.
Hi, River.
Hi, Michelle.
How are you today?
I'm tired. It's a Sunday
Yeah.
morning while we're recording, and I'm tired. I had a long Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, scale of 1 to 10. 10 being you are about to go on the coolest adventure of your life, and 1 being that the kid's father um, was just another beautiful representation of who he was, who he is.
That's a kind way of putting it.
Uh-huh. I'm being very Switzerland at the moment. Where are you at on that 1 to 10 scale?
Um, I'd say about a 3. It was
Yeah,
a
where were
rough,
you? Yeah, where were you
it
3 days
was a
ago?
rough week. I took my kids to Portland to be with my
Hmm.
sister and my niece for the week, and it was just a rough week on so many levels because my kids were already dysregulated from routine changes, like
Yep.
no school, and they'd just been at their dad's for the weekend. And
All
so,
I can let me tell you, let me set the tone here, listeners. So our sweet pod squad, our lovely River here, if you've been following us long enough, you know that River loves a good road trip, and you know
yeah.
that she also really loves connecting with her kids and bringing in like doing fun shit with them. And this ended up being not fun shit, but a shit show.
Yes, it was such a shit show. Such a shit show. Like,
And you were so excited. Like, like, the couple of days before, you're like, I'm going to start packing them soon. Like, you romanticized what you hoped this week would be.
well,
And
I don't think it was that. It was
okay.
like more of like I'm covering all my bases with my pre-packing. It was like
Yeah.
I'm trying to go into this with as much preparation as possible
Yeah.
to make things easier for my kids and myself, like having everything that they need, like
Yes.
trying to like think about all the possibilities of what they could need, what could help
Especially
them
with your
on the
daughter.
drive. And
Yep.
so then Monday, when like Sunday night when they got back from their dad's house, like I literally had everything ready to go. Everything was
Yeah.
packed. Everything. I like got
Yeah.
to, when I travel with my kids, like I have totes. I have a tote, like all the clothes go in, and then I have a tote of like all the sensory things, all the stuff that we need for like regulation, emotional support, all that stuff, and our road trip stuff. So it's like I had everything ready to go. I had my dog ready to go. Monday morning, bright and early, loaded the car up. We had breakfast ready to go. Like they have, when I travel with my kids, because I don't actually travel frequently with my kids because I don't have
Okay.
them on the weekends anymore.
Right.
So I
Right.
don't get to
That
travel
makes
with them
sense.
as much. So it's like maybe 2 or 3 times a year at this point in time. But when I do take him on a road trip, I go like to the dollar store the day before, and I have these little baskets that are their road trip baskets, and I put like new crayons and a new coloring book and like a new sensory toy, like little treats and snacks in there, so they each have one, and they don't get to see it until they're in the car. So like
Yeah.
incentivized, right? They get in the car, they're so excited to see their road trip basket. We have tablets charged, we have everything we could possibly need, the blankets
Yeah.
they need, everything. And so we hit the road on Monday, and it was just like the longest day ever of driving. Just so many
So
bathroom
many
stops.
stops.
Like it's a 4 hour drive that turns into like a 7 to 8 hour drive because of how much we have to stop. And my daughter gets car sick and we have to do Dramamine, and it's like it's just so much. And towards the end of the drive, they
Could you
started
sit her?
fighting.
I know she's only 9, but could you sit her up front for like a road trip like that?
It doesn't matter where she's sitting at in the car. She's going to be car
Okay.
sick unless she has
Okay.
Dramamine. I've tried all the things, right? We've
I
tried
gotcha.
everything. This has been like a problem since she was like a baby. So,
Yeah.
um, and we just like by the time we got to my sister's house, it was just like I can't wait to be out of the car.
I bet.
And then just we get there, and it's just every single day this last week was just so much parenting, so much intense parenting, so much
Mhm.
anxiety from one of my kids. a lot of dysregulation from him. Um, it was just a lot. At one point in time, like the day before Thanksgiving, we had a full day of fun activities planned, and I ended up having to stay at home with my son at my sister's house because he was so dysregulated that he couldn't behave at all. He was so emotionally dysregulated and all over the place, like hitting, swearing, just, you know, being told the tiniest no about something just collapsed him into full like emotional meltdown. And I had to stay home with him. He had to
You know,
lose out
I was
on
really proud of
doing
you.
it. Was really hard because when like as my sister and the girls went out the door and he realized that he was actually missing out on the fun things that he'd been looking forward to, it just broke his heart. It broke his heart. He just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, and it was so hard. But it's like as a parent, you have to have boundaries, and you have to teach your kids um, you know, the
Well,
effects of our
consequences,
constantly
consequences.
like
Yeah.
our actions and behaviors.
Actions.
And what I told him is that when he finally calmed down, we're sitting there snuggling and talking about it, because I don't try to talk to my kids about what's going on until they're calmed down, right? They like in the thick of the
So,
emotions, especially at 6 years old, there's no way that they can have a conversation about what
hey,
they're
I need
feeling,
to
all
calm
that.
down before having a conversation. Like,
Yeah.
it's
So yeah, so when he finally became more regulated and we're sitting there talking and he wanted to talk about things, I just said, hey, you get to feel how you feel. You get to be angry. You get to be sad. You get to feel hurt. You get to feel anxious, like all of that. You get to feel that, but it's how you treat other people when you're feeling those things. That is the reason that you had to stay home today, because the reality is that you were angry because I told you no about something,
Mhm, mhm.
and you smacked me and called me an asshole. Well, you get to feel angry about me saying no, but you don't
Mhm.
get to smack me and call me an asshole and then
Nope.
go spend a day doing fun activities. Because
Yeah, that's not
when you've
acceptable.
done that, you've broken my trust with you. And if I can't trust you to have safe hands, um, then we can't go out in public because I can't trust you to listen to me.
Yep.
And, he understood that, and because it's a conversation we have a
Did he
lot, but
apologize?
he did. He apologized, and he apologized to his sister and cousin when they got home, and because he had been super unkind to them too. But it was a long, hard, hard week. And then on Thanksgiving itself, like I, at one point in time, my my sister's boyfriend was like, "What's going on with Ivy today?" I was like,
Oh my.
the autism is autisming today. That's what's going
Yeah,
on today. The
totally.
autism is extra today.
Yeah.
So it was just even having two extra adults in the house who were so supportive, so helpful. I still got to go out and do walks with my dog and like have a little bit of me time, go to the grocery store. But having that support made me realize even more how hard it is for me as a single parent, because like that moment of staying home with my son for 2 hours of like, you know, focused time with him, I don't get to do that at home as a single mom because I don't have anybody to tag in and take my daughter to go do things. Usually when something like that is happening, I'm having to help two dysregulated kids, because when he's dysregulated that like that and it's the three of us at home, he triggers her and she becomes dysregulated and they're fighting, and I'm having to figure out how to help both of them at the same time while making dinner or having to take care of the animals and like worrying about work. And it was just one of those weeks where it really highlighted for me like how tough my job is as a single parent and how exhausted I am.
I mean, you did the best you could in that total situation.
Absolutely.
And I think you set the tone because not only did your son have that opportunity with you for a teaching moment, even though Ivy wasn't busted, she will remember that when we behave that way, that the consequences, you don't get to go do the fun thing that we all talked about doing. Not only that, you also got to miss out on that opportunity with her as well. And so not only do you lose, the kid is losing, but winning in a sense too, because it's the whole teaching thing. But it's
Yeah.
like it's a dynamic that you just don't want to repeat going forward. So hopefully doing it a couple times painfully like you did and sat in it with them, hopefully going forward, they'll think twice. Or you'll be able to say, remember last time when this happened? And then he'll be like, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna go do art. I'm gonna go do a Lego thing. I'm gonna go do something so I can get so he can get out of that space for himself even.
Yep. Yeah, we had a moment later that night on that day where he came with me. I was walking the dog and he came with me because he loves to go for walks. And we were just walking quietly and he just kind of was like really quiet the rest of the day and just kind of thoughtful. And as we're walking, he goes, Mom, I'm actually kind of glad that happened today because I got to have time with you and we got to talk and that's just really cool.
Oh, he's such
And
a
I was
cutie
like,
pie.
and that's the thing is like, he's such a sweetheart,
He
right?
really
And so
is.
I know in those
He's
moments when
figuring it
he's
out.
really dysregulated like that, like something is bothering him under the surface, right? Like something is going on. And the thing that, I always come back to, um, is all behavior as a form of communication. Our
Yep,
kids aren't doing this to us. Like, yes, in
totally.
that moment when he was dysregulated, like he did harm me, like he slapped me and called me an asshole. Like that was really triggering for me, but even in that moment, I still had to realize he's communicating right now. There's something going on within him that he doesn't know how to
Mhm.
express in any other way. This is biological. Like I have to sit with him in this, that I have to stay regulated, even though it's triggering, even though it sucks. I have to be the grounded presence in this
Mhm.
because he needs to learn. He needs to learn how
Agreed.
to identify what's going on within him
Yeah.
and then how to communicate it. And it
So,
turns out like he was just what really at the root of it was that he's a 6-year-old boy. And we were at my sister's house where my niece is 12, my daughter is 9, and they disappear off to her room and they spend the entire day doing art and doing things together, listening to music. They have very similar
social. Mhm.
personalities. They are together doing things and they leave him out a lot.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have anybody to play with. And he was
Mm.
frustrated. He was
Mm.
frustrated because they kept telling him he couldn't play with them.
Total
he
sibling
he
stuff.
wanted he wanted snacks, and Auntie and I kept telling him, you already had snacks, you can't have more snacks. And so he kept just hearing no, 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 no. And he's a generator.
Yep.
And so as a generator, constantly hearing the word no just made him so frustrated to the point where he just collapsed. He just melted
Yeah.
down. It took
Yeah.
over.
Hmm. I know. Yesterday you're so funny when I tell you what I did. You're like, you're such a generator. Because I start so early in the morning and I just keep going, going, going until everything's done.
Hmm.
But then today I can totally relax and take like Cooper to the dog. Like there's so much space now after being so like, you know,
Productive.
so happily productive. I fucking love it so much. And then like today I have my booster and a flu shot, at 4. So I set that up at the end of kind of the day. So this way I can enjoy doing whatever else in case so I mean I'm typically not like affected by any of those boosters, but you just never know if it's a
You
new
never know.
yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that I set myself up for success, in that sense. But
Yeah.
but no, I'm really proud of you. But I'm curious. I have one question around it is like, so flash forward to next year. What would like, what's the lesson? Like, what would you do different, even though they're a year older at that point? Doesn't mean that you'll have the same exact responses, but is there anything that you would do differently next year in the sense of like before prepping, setting up expectations or getting like an Airbnb so it's just the 3 of you together, and then, that kind of thing where you can go and enjoy the family, but also have like quiet downtime for them to sort of regulate, get quiet for a little while, have like really special quality time with you. Like I'm just asking out of
I don't know. Like I think I did everything. Like I
Yeah.
literally did as much as humanly possible to prepare us for this trip. We talked about it for weeks.
Yeah.
I asked the kids, like, Ivy, what do you need for the road trip to help you feel better? Like, we had everything we needed. I think, and you know, staying with my sister is wonderful because they have plenty of space, and that, you know, my sister and her boyfriend are already so involved in my kids' lives, have known them from day one, and having my sister's boyfriend several times, he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I step in?" And I was like, "Yes, please." And he stepped in and he, you know, took my son aside and was like, "You cannot treat your mom this way. This is disrespectful to your mom. This is
Mhm.
not how men treat women." Like, and gave him a little talking to that really sunk into my for my son, which I really needed a man to give him that kind of, you know, he needed
Feedback.
to hear that. He needs to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And it's someone
and
he respects and is close to,
yeah, and
not
so and
scared
then
of or anything.
yeah, someone he trusts, and then, you know, within all of the hardness, there were these sweet moments where it's like, you know, my son is going to the store with my sister's boyfriend, and then helped him chop firewood, and my sister's boyfriend taught him how to make a fire, and they're like sitting in front of the fire together
That's
making
so
paper
sweet.
airplanes and like playing board games. And so it was like, no, I don't think I would in the future get an Airbnb and you know, be separate, because there's so much about that that was wonderful and fun and beautiful and supportive.
Hmm.
um so I don't know that there's anything I would actually do differently. I think maybe the only thing the only thing I wish I could do differently is block their dad's phone number.
You're all do not or mute them for the week, next
Like,
time.
do not, just leave me alone. Just leave me
But
alone.
it didn't even matter because he reached out through his buddy who happens to be,
My
your
sister's
sister's.
boyfriend.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like you just literally can't win there. I mean, that is what it is. But
yeah.
so today we were going to talk about like, and we used Thanksgiving in your story to kind of connect on the fact of like, presence versus experiences. And I still think no matter what, even, like a week goes by, they're going to have really good memories of that trip. I think slowly but surely you created core memories, even though it was just a really rough emotional week. I still think you created huge core memories for them.
I hope so. That's my hope, I think. Um, yeah, because even within the difficulty, there were still so many sweet moments,
Mm-hmm.
that I hope that that's what they remember from the trip.
I mean, even if they remember the car ride, right? Because I'm sure that was fun. They were just stopping. They just needed you to stop a lot.
Oh yeah, like in my, you know, on the way there, my son and I, like, Ivy wasn't interested in seeing the waterfalls, but you know, the along the Columbia Gorge to Portland, there's
Yeah.
old Highway 30 that,
Hell
you know,
yeah.
you take,
Nine
and it
nine
goes along
waterfalls
the,
right there.
it's so many waterfalls. And so we went and we stopped at Rowena Crest to see the view, and you know,
Yeah.
Tobin and I stopped at which Horsetail Falls, and went and checked out the
Mm-hmm.
waterfall while Ivy just stayed in the car with her book. And so, you know, Tobin and I got to have those little moments together that were really sweet and fun. And then Ivy actually had a really good week, and she and her cousin got to spend a ton of quality time together. And in the past, when we've had more than a day or two together, they kind of start to fight sometimes. But they
Mm-hmm.
had a wonderful, wonderful week together, and they just had a great time. So overall, it's like, even though it was hard, I think it really was a good week with some hard moments.
For sure. I think so too. I mean, it sounded like it, but yeah, I'm all about like experiences. Like, I'm really grateful that my kid loves art and everything, but it's not like it used to be where, tons of presents, tons of games, tons of like basically shit that no one would like, or that she grows out of in minutes.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of grateful. I like the experiences though too. Like, um, I mean, it's fun having her open presents and everything, but it's not everything to me. It's not what it's really all about.
How do you guys do Christmas? You share the day? What do you do with Christmas? What's your routine with that?
So I mean, so honestly, luckily I'm Jewish, right? So I do
Yeah,
Hanukkah and she does Christmas. So
that
we
works
kind
out
of,
perfectly.
yeah, I just totally, so this year it's kind of interesting because Christmas and Hanukkah start on this, Hanukkah starts on Christmas.
Mm,
So the morning we've already discussed it because I said you can have her the night before if you it's my week. So but I said if she wants to walk down basically, and be with you that night. And I said you can change your mind even. It's not like I'm chill about it. Like it's no big deal. Um but then in the morning she's gonna go over to Carrie's and have Christmas. And then that night because I only have her for 2 of the 8 nights of Hanukkah, I'll give
mm-hmm.
her 4 presents, for then and 4 presents on the next night. And then
Mm,
she's going to see then they're traveling to Idaho. So then they're going to spend time with her mom, my Carrie's her other mother,
mm.
grandma, her other grandparents and stuff. So she'll be out of town, so it'll be cool. But it's fairly easy. It's like I just do Hanukkah and she does the Christmas day.
That works out so nicely.
It really does. And it's really cool. And we're already talking about like where we want to go next year for her spring break because I have it.
Mm.
It's on my week. And so I don't want her to go to a dumb day camp. So I'm probably gonna take her somewhere cool. I just don't know where yet. We've been talking about 10 different places, so I'll figure out. I don't it's only a week, so it's like I want to give her a day buffer and also for getting home. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Travel
I,
time.
I thought
Yeah.
I saw a kitty tail, like I saw like a little shadow.
Yep, here comes Mr. Whiskers. He always
There's
has to
Mr.
help with the
Whiskers.
podcasting.
He loves it. He's such a cute cat.
He's such a
So,
cutie.
what about you with regards to like presents or experiences?
Whoop, what just happened? Oh, there I am.
Dun, dun, dun,
Mr. Whiskers helped a lot. He just muted me.
That was
Um,
funny.
was funny. So we, for my kids on even years, I have my kids for Thanksgiving. He has them for Christmas. On odd years, I have. So it's, every other year. So this is the first year that I will, since the divorce, that I won't have them for Christmas.
Mm,
Which I could care less about Thanksgiving. It's not my favorite holiday. I could care less about it. In fact, before having kids, I actually didn't celebrate Thanksgiving at all.
yeah.
Um, but Christmas, I love Christmas. Christmas
Mm,
was my favorite holiday as a kid. Um, I have a lot of wonderful Christmas memories from childhood, and it's something I always wanted to recreate with my kids. So this year, not having my kids for Christmas is a little difficult.
yeah. So what
And
are
I've
you
been
gonna do?
trying to reframe it. It's an opportunity to make our own traditions. Um, I still have them for most of the day on Christmas Eve, but then they go to their dad's house like at 6 p.m. that night, and I won't see them until Sunday. So I won't have my kids for most of Christmas week, which is
Mhm.
really hard for me because I'm also not working because it's Christmas break.
Right.
And so I am now faced with a lot of solo time on my favorite holiday week of the year.
Mm,
And I have always done certain traditions with my kids, like we go and we get our own Christmas tree. And there are a lot of things that we do. We do Elf on the Shelf, which we love. I love Elf on the Shelf. My kids are obsessed with Elf on the Shelf. They love it. And there's a lot of things that we do together throughout the month that this year I'm having a hard time kind of finding the motivation to do it because I know I won't have them Christmas week. So I'm kind of struggling with, that change, trying to figure out how to do things differently this year. But then also there's
why
like,
don't you take them to get like a small tree, like almost like a Charlie Brown sort of thing. So it doesn't take a lot to like, for you to dump the tree later, but more like you guys can still decorate something. There's still like that beautiful glow and the symbolism of the
Oh,
tree?
we're still gonna do a tree, definitely. We
Okay,
always do.
cool.
We
Oh,
always do.
good.
I can't not have a Christmas tree. It's just the way, just it doesn't feel like Christmas to me this year yet,
I
the way
hear
that it
you.
normally does, because I have the
Sure.
anticipation of being alone for most of Christmas week. And so
Yeah.
I'm still kind of trying to wrap my brain around that. But then there's also too, as a single parent, like the constant kind of social pressure of creating big memories for your kids and big fun
Yeah.
experiences for your kids while also being a single parent and having to juggle other things,
Totally.
working, bills, all of that, you know. Um, so it's this year feels very different. Feels very different to me. And I had a conversation with my kids about how this year for Christmas we're not doing a lot of Christmas presents because I am actively in the process of, saving towards trying to buy a house in the future. And my kids are aware of that and they thought that was really cool. They're like, yeah, mom, don't buy us anything. We want to have a house. Like, they were fully on board with that, but still wanting to like do some small presents for them, do a couple of things for them and just try to create new traditions. So yeah, it's an interesting year.
Maybe it's about exploring like a cute little other Oregon town that feels like a Hallmark movie, that
Mm,
not like Leavenworth isn't very far from you, is it?
it is. It's about five
Oh,
hours, 5, 6
oh, I
hours.
didn't. Oh, wow, I
Yeah,
didn't
it's far.
realize that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because that is more.
Yeah, and it's hard too because when I was married, I was the one who facilitated most of our celebrations. And so we always did the things like our local town has right after Thanksgiving, they have a Christmas parade at night
Mhm.
and a Christmas tree lighting downtown. And I didn't get to go do those things with my kids because it was his time. And when I had envisioned what co-parenting would be like during the holidays while getting divorced, I had the hope that we would still continue to do some of those things together for the kids. And that is not a safe thing for us to do.
Mm.
So this is really the first year where I'm having to really evaluate holiday traditions in a new way. We did do Christmas together the first year because I invited him over to come do Christmas morning with us and my stepdaughter and have breakfast and all of that. And um, I've since realized it's just not safe for me for us to do that. And so
Hmm.
everything's different. And then, socially, like there's just so much pressure in general to buy. Like, Black Friday this year, like Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, I feel like this year it's especially just so in your face. Just like constant emails, constant advertising,
Yeah,
like you can't scroll on social media without seeing like sales, buy, all the things.
totally.
Um, it's a lot, I think even for married people trying to raise kids, like the
There's just
holidays are a lot.
pressure.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
there's
of
just pressure
pressure.
everywhere.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of pressure, and I'm pretty minimalist, and I personally have been growing more and more towards less about material items and more about experiences.
Yep.
Um, I will say the gifts I'm getting for my kids this year are things that will bring them a lot of joy and a lot of. I'm getting my kids, I think I mentioned it in the last podcast, the Yoto players, the little they're
Yeah.
screen-free story and music players. Getting one for each of them so they can do that on their own time, listen to stories they want to listen to podcasts and music that they want to listen to, and I think they will love that.
And I love that. No, I definitely, I mean, I just personally, I'm trying to add in more cool adventures and do more because she's just getting to that age now. It's really enjoyable. And I like having her with me, it's so fun.
Yeah.
God, the cat is so damn cute.
I know, I just took a screenshot of the cat.
Oh my God, Mr. Whiskers is leaning back into her and like putting his little hand up like, yeah, to like, can I get closer, Mom? Like really almost trying to nuzzle you in such a
If this
sweet
cat
way.
could get under my skin, he would. He
God,
would
this cat is
climb
so
into my skin.
sweet. Like
He's the
he is
sweetest.
so content. Look at him. He's like, I gotta get closer,
And
Mom.
look at all those whiskers. Like this
They're
is
the
why his name is
cutest.
Mr. Whiskers because he just has like more whiskers than face.
It's gorgeous, his little white. I mean, he's such a beautiful kitty.
He's so beautiful.
He's so, look at him. He's literally in heaven right now. Well, I think I'm just glad we got to connect and talk about this kind of stuff because I think everybody out there thinks it. They don't always say it. And I think honestly, it's like getting your kids out of, I think I just like the idea that Kaden knows that I'll never, like for Hanukkah, she's only getting the 8 gifts, one gift a night. Like I'm not overdoing it. And some of them are like from a dollar store too. Like sometimes it's just like fun little shit.
I go to the dollar store for stockings. So what I do, what I've always done from day one with my kids when Ivy was born, I do 4 gifts where we do something you want, something to read, something to wear, something you need.
Mm.
So one for each one of those categories. And then we do stockings. And so traditionally, what we do on Christmas Eve is we would open stockings, and then we have a little box from Santa that has a new movie, Christmas pajamas, and like hot chocolate and popcorn. And we would do a
So
movie night
cute.
in our new pajamas and go to bed. So this
That's
year I'm gonna do that a little bit differently because even though I don't have my kids for Christmas, I have them for the week of New Year's where there's no school. I get to have them on New Year's Eve. So
that's great.
I'm not going to do Christmas with them until they get back from their dads because I don't want to have them open all their gifts and then have to go to their dad's house and leave all their gifts at my house and all of that. So I'm going to wait to do Christmas with them until they come back from their dad's
I
house that Sunday
I
night.
love that.
I'm gonna have the Christmas box ready to go. We're gonna do our movie, our pajamas, our treats, and all of that, and then do Christmas the next morning. So we're gonna treat it like Christmas Eve all over again.
I
And
love
then we're
it.
just gonna kind of keep like the festivities going through New Year's Eve, and we're just gonna go out and play. We're gonna go out and hike. We're gonna just do some crafts and enjoy our week together without traveling anywhere, without school, without work, and just soak up that time together, I think.
I think that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aw, that's a really cute idea. Will you say what that is again slowly? It's what find something to wear. What is it?
Yeah, so it's there's 4 gifts, something and there's like a rhyming thing too, but I never remember the correct order. So it's something you want, they want. So something they want, something they need, something to wear, something to read.
That's cool. I'm gonna put it in the show notes. That's really cool. I think that's
Yeah.
a really great like suggestion too.
Yeah, and I'll just give an example. So something they want, they both really, really love Legos.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting each of them a little Lego set to fill that
Yep.
category. Something they need. Um, they both need a couple of like Tobin needs some new shoes. Ivy needs some new underwear. So I'm getting those need things, right?
Yep.
Something to wear. They both like have special like characters they love. Like Ivy loves Pokemon, Tobin loves Spider-Man. So I'm just getting them a cute sweatshirt that,
Love it.
fits those, you know. And
Themes, yeah.
then something to read. Normally I would get a book, but this year I'm getting them those Yodo players, which
Yeah.
kind of
They can
fills that like niche too
for
of
sure.
tons of stories that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can
yeah.
listen to, like audiobook style. So that's what I'm doing for that. It's
I love
super,
it.
super easy. It's not super expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it can be expensive if you want it to be.
It
It
can.
doesn't have to
I
be.
don't. I try.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, the Yodo players are little on the spendier side, but they're still under $100 because they're on Black Friday sale right now. So
Awesome.
I'm watching some of those sales, like for some of those things that I need versus just feeling like I need to like buy all the things just because they're on sale.
Yeah. No,
You
I
know what I
like,
mean?
no, I totally
Uh,
like your suggestions. And I think that's a really fun idea. Like it just gives a mom or dad or whoever wants who's listening, like just think, oh, this is a cool way to do it. Approach it. Just it gives it
yeah.
a fun
So
approach.
I decide those things in advance. And then I make a list for each kid what those 4 things are going to be. And then I literally go to the sites where they're going to be, where I'm going to be buying them, and I put them in my cart and I wait until Black Friday because I know the Black Friday sales are coming. And I have a budget for each child. This is how much I'm going to spend for each child, and I
Mhm.
stick within that, and I only buy those things.
That's awesome. Love
Yeah,
it. Just
love
like I
it.
love you.
Love you too.
Well, I'm excited. It's December 1st today and new month. winding down the year and entering this. We don't know quite what 2025 is going to look like and feel. We just know we're walking into it with a new president and lots of unknowns. So I think I just want to soak up the holidays and just enjoy this moment while we have it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting year, that's for sure.
But I'm grateful that I have you.
Same. I love you.
I love you too. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode today, be sure to subscribe and share because what do we say, baby?
Sharing is caring.